All right, welcome to the REI Marketing Weekly Newsletter. Today I am going to talk about the purpose of your content or having goals for your content. This is extremely important because I think a lot of people get really caught up in views and likes and shares and that kind of stuff on social media and YouTube and all the, everything, right? So it's very, very important, very vital to your marketing in general to have metrics in place and goals in place for a video that you put out or a podcast you put out or a blog that you put out. So it's very, very important because you can get very caught up in the fact that you don't have 100,000 views or you don't have X amount of likes or whatever. So here's the general rule of thumb. I go through this with all my clients. I had a conversation with one of my clients this week is why are you doing the content in the first place? Now, last week on the newsletter, I put in one of the articles a content plan, right? So I actually use that content plan for my content plan, which will kind of tell you what your goals are actually going to be. And then you reverse engineer that. So you set your goal. If your goal is to close 10 deals a week, so you're wanting to acquire 10 deals, you got to build the marketing around that goal, which also includes the content. So you got to build all the content around the goal that the closing the 10 deals every single week. If your goal is to get 100,000 views on a video or to build a YouTube channel up to 1 million subscribers, then you got to build content around that. It's got to be very purposeful, and just saying I want X amount of views is not going to do the job. So if your actual goal is to close that 10 deals a week, if you get, let's say you put out 4 videos and they're 4 ad videos for acquisitions, and you're talking about distressed sellers and hey, I can acquire your house even if you have foundation problems or if you've inherited the property or whatever. If your videos get 20 views, but you still close 10 deals, then the content was successful. So think about it that way. It doesn't matter how many views you have. It doesn't matter how many subscribers you have if your goal is to close 10 deals. This is why it's extremely important to establish those goals, because I've had clients come to me and I produce a video for them and they're like, Josh, this video didn't get 100,000 views. What's going on? I'm freaking out. And it's a week later. It's a week after they actually published the video. And my response is always the same. What was your goal for the video? Oh, your goal was to close deals. Well, it doesn't matter how many views you get. Now, obviously, attention is huge. Obviously, if you get 100,000 views, you should always go for the the largest amount of interaction that you can get. That's always something that you should strive for, but it shouldn't be a primary goal because you're going to get let down. The way social media, the way that content in general works, it's very, very tough to determine like, hey, I'm going to produce this video to get 100,000 views. It doesn't work that way. It's very, very, it's not cut and dry. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just, there's no rhyme or reason to getting 1 million subscribers. There's a lot of things that play into it. Consistency, there's putting out quality content, putting out a sheer amount of content every week, and building it that way for the long term. But you gotta, again, establish your goal for that and then measure those metrics. So if your metrics are to close 10 deals every single week off of X amount of content that you're putting out, then make sure you're keeping track of that. It's important because then you're going to see the ROI on the content you're putting out, and you're going to be able to go even harder at that and put out even more content so that you're closing 15 deals a week or 20 deals a week. So I encourage you, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video because it's going to be directed to everybody. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're in real estate or not, or even if the goal for your content is to sell houses, or the goal for your content is to just gain awareness. Now, if your goal is to build a YouTube channel with 1 million subscribers, then yes, that's a real metric, but that determines the other content that you put out. So if your pillar, your hub is YouTube, then you should be building out content around other social media platforms to send people to that YouTube channel. So that's why it's extremely important to understand this, because you can get caught in the weeds in like in the likes and the shares and the comments and all that stuff. So keep that in mind as you're producing content. Don't get discouraged. Like if you put a video out there and it gets 50 views on it, or even less than that, 10 views on it, don't get discouraged. Make sure that you have your goals in the center, in the forefront, leading your content. So you establish your goal, you reverse engineer, and you build your marketing plan and your content plan around that goal. So again, short video, but it's something that everybody needs to understand. I don't care if you're shooting live video, if you're like just doing it on your own, you're not doing any production at all. If you're going live at, a rehab, or if you're going live at a house that you just acquired and you're going to flip it, that kind of thing. Think about why you're doing it. Why are you putting it out? Is it to gain awareness around people that are other wholesalers and you want them to bring you deals? Then hey, do more of those, because you're going to get more awareness from that. So bottom line, set goals, set metrics for your actual content before you start putting content out, because those goals are going to determine what content you put out in the first place. And I highly, highly encourage you to go create a content marketing plan. I'll leave it actually description in the below. So this is going to be unlisted on YouTube, but I'll leave a link to the content plan that I actually used. I'll leave it in the description below. So you guys make sure you take the time to do that. I did that with one of my clients this week, and he said it was extremely eye-opening. Pretty soon, I'm going to be coming out with my own content plan so that it's more built around real estate for you guys. But for now, this will do. This will be just fine. So make sure you do it. Thank you. Make sure you're checking out the rest of the content here in the newsletter. Got a lot of great stuff. Interviewed Joe Dillon, and he's talking about SMS marketing. And then right below this video is a very interesting thing, which is an interesting fact that I heard this week, which is Facebook video, all Facebook video, 80% of it that is consumed without the audio activated. You got to read below to learn more. Thank you guys. Make sure you hit me up if you have any questions, josh@colormedia.com, and I'll see you guys next week.